Okay, so big question. Dr. Rutledge for a decade has been, do you hate people who talk about themselves in third person? Dr. Rutledge thinks this is a good way to do this. For 10 years or more, I've been recommending the Walmart One-Source vitamins. And I've been recommending vitamins in general, but those in particular. And so two big things have changed. One, there's a whole bunch of research suggesting now that vitamins aren't that good, and that high doses of vitamins may actually be harmful. And this is very annoying, very confusing to me, and it's hard for me to deal with. And then also Walmart has stopped making the One-Source. So I've kind of changed my tune, and I need to change the manual and some of the other things. But basically, here's how it works. We used to think that low vitamins are bad. So low iron, low B12, low folate, these are all dangerous situations. And in America, we know if something is good, a whole bunch of it is just wonderful. And so there's been a lot of research that suggests that. So if you look in the bloodstream of patients who have a lot of vitamin A and beta-carotene, they have less cancer, less heart attack and stroke. And so if that's the case, the Veterans Administration said, we have tons of people getting cancer, all these veterans smoking. Why don't we give everybody vitamin A, beta-carotene? So they took like 17,000 veterans, half got sugar pills, half got vitamin A or beta-carotene, and they found that it didn't help a bit, and there might even be a slight trend towards more cancer in the people getting the vitamins. And there was a definite slight increase in the people who got hip fractures. So you haven't heard much recently about vitamin A. If you're old and remember about 10 years ago, we used to give our patients vitamin A. Another thing you may have heard in the past is about vitamin E. Remember how vitamin E was pretty hot a while ago? Now not so much? Because they took about 1,000 doctors who graduated from Harvard, and they followed them for years. Half got vitamin E, and it's based on research, which if you have a lot of vitamin E in your bloodstream, or if you eat a lot of food with vitamin E in it, you have fewer heart attacks, fewer strokes, and vitamin E is an antioxidant. So there's all this research saying take vitamin E, right? Well, they did a controlled, prospective, randomized trial, and the studies didn't show vitamin E helped at all. They did it in a nurse's study. They've done a bunch of things. So vitamin E in high doses may not be good, may not be helpful at all. Okay? Let me do another thing that's really hard for me to face and hard for me to understand. B vitamins. Aren't B vitamins good? I mean, B vitamins are good. B12. I know people, they want B12 shots, right? B12 shots for energy. We thought that was a good idea. Folate. Isn't folate a good thing? B6. Pyridoxine. Okay? Low levels of those vitamins, dangerous. Maybe even sometimes deadly. Can cause brain damage and nerve damage. They found out that there's a chemical in your bloodstream called homocysteine. More of it in your bloodstream, more hardening of the arteries, more heart attack, stroke, and death. More folate in your bloodstream, more B12 in your bloodstream, less homocysteine, less heart attack, stroke, and death. So let's give patients a sugar pill or a combination of B6, B12, folate, and all these other B vitamins. What did they find? The homocysteine went down, but in diabetics who had vascular disease, hardening of the arteries of the kidneys, the ones who got the high dose of the B vitamins did worse. They had worse kidney function. In Norway, they gave people extra vitamins like that, and they actually got more breast cancer. Whereas previous research had shown if you have more of those vitamins in your bloodstream, you have less breast cancer. How can we make sense of this research? The vitamin tablets at high dose may not help and may actually hurt. But if you get those same vitamins in healthy food, that may be terrific. That the vitamin themselves are the fin of the shark, they're not the shark. So what these vitamin E and vitamin A, the beta-carotene means you're eating carrots. It doesn't mean necessarily that the vitamin by itself helps. So our new point to our patients is something that we've said for a long time, and that's a basic advice that eat a healthy diet, which is, that's a long run for a short slide. Okay, duh, I heard that, Dr. Rutledge. But again, a fresh, healthy diet may be the best thing you can do. Now, we still recommend that you supplement with some vitamins to avoid deficiencies, and basically any multivitamin is probably going to be fine. And the old idea that we'd stick just to the Walmart One Source, we've kind of given up on because they've gotten rid of that. But we certainly think that yearly you should get your blood tested and make sure you're not overdosing on anything. We occasionally see on the yearly blood test people will have a high level of vitamin A, and we would definitely cut your vitamin intake if you see that. We occasionally see high levels of B6, and we would cut your blood level if you see that. So we recommend a general multivitamin is fine, and the Centrum and the One-A-Days and the Equate version at Walmart are fine choices. And we still recommend a relatively high dose when you start, but at 1 year you should have your blood tested and make sure that you don't have too high. The new research suggests that pills of vitamins, making your blood levels too high, may not only not be good for you, but may actually be harmful. So big new news, a big change in my understanding about vitamins, and it may not be across the board. There are a couple of vitamins that still might be okay as pills, and that's the research on vitamin D. Okay? Vitamin D levels should be tested in your blood. You want to make sure you know what they are. Most of us, a majority of Americans, have low vitamin D, and we need more. One of the questions is, the way we're supposed to, the way God intended us to get vitamin D, is to go out in the sun. Now the dermatologists have told us, no, don't go out in the sun. Cover up, use sunscreen, things like that. There's an argument amongst the two groups of doctors, but a reasonable compromise is every single day we should be out in the sun for a minimum of 20 minutes with as much of your body exposed as you can within the bounds of good taste. So,
some people we've seen in Vegas didn't get that.
So be careful out there. But we need to go out in the sun. We need to go out in the sun. Our lives indoors may really harm us. And the low levels of vitamin D may increase rates of cancer, heart attack, and stroke. And as you go further north in the United States, that gets worse. So take advantage of it. Even if you go out with a light shirt on, and even if it's cloudy, you can still get some vitamin D. But that may be critical. And again, the normal, natural way may be the best way to go about that. So in summary, there's hot new research. It's a little hard to put together, but when you do put it together, it kind of makes sense. Eat a healthy diet. You know, Americans, I think, would like to be able to have a Twinkie and a Diet Coke and a multivitamin tablet. And that's not what we can eat. That's not the way to go. That's convenient. We could do that when we're driving to work. You could shave, put on your makeup, have a Twinkie from the glove compartment that's been there for 6 weeks, have a can of Diet Coke and a multivitamin and say, okay, I'm doing this for my health. The research suggests that's not right. That fresh, healthy vegetables, fruits, whole wheat foods are a better choice. And that remains true, even though that's a cliche to say that, and you can't make up for it. You may actually make things worse by taking a big tablet of something. You know, GNC has something called Mega Man and Mega Woman vitamins, which have lots of those vitamins in it based on that old research. And I now think that the very high doses of vitamins are not supported by the latest research. And instead of worrying about which vitamin you take, it's much more important to eat a healthy diet and be out in the sun every day. That's just critical.
Would you say that though? Because when I had my blood work done a year ago, not this year.